Hi, seventh grade. I'm getting ready to go over the final part of your two column note questions for Chapter 6, Lesson 1. So, the first question you should have started off with was, what did Jackson become after a very rough childhood? Now, those of you that don't know much about his childhood, he's actually considered to be a frontiersman, so somebody who lived on the frontier. So they lived between settled territory and unsettled territory. So a lot of people thought he was very rough around the edges, uneducated. But in reality, he educated himself and was able to push forward to become a soldier, lawyer, a realtor, which is somebody who sells homes, politician, judge, major general in the Tennessee militia. And in reality, Jackson played a huge role in the War of 1812 during the Battle of New Orleans against the British. And it was a major defeat for the British, and it played a huge part into why the United States was able to win the War of 1812. Now, Jackson's supporters viewed him as a man of his word and a champion of the common people because, like I said, the election of 1828 was extremely important because it was the first time that the common people felt that their voice was being heard. So they wanted Andrew Jackson in office. They got him in office all because of their ability to vote. Next question. How did Jackson's critics view him? So critic is somebody who basically analyzes everything that you're doing. So they often called him King Andrew because he tried to expand the powers of the presidency, meaning he would use things like executive orders to get things done constantly if Congress was not helping him out in any way, shape, or form. Another thing that makes Jackson a little bit different is that at his inauguration, he had invited people to the White House. So this was the first time that a lot of common people decided to go to the White House to celebrate the inauguration of a president. And there were thousands and thousands of people in these crowds, and they were so excited to see General Jackson as their president, so they went to go see him in the White House. Jackson was elected by mainly white men without property who now had the right to vote. And in return, Jackson promised to help these men, especially small farmers, on the western frontier, and he did do that over the course of his presidency. The fun fact was already in there, and I believe I mentioned this in my second video, that Jackson was the first Westerner to occupy the White House. Next question, what were the effects of Jacksonian democracy? There are 4 of them. So the first one is that Jackson's election marked the shift of political power to the West. Political power in the United States up until 1828 was typically in the Northeast, so areas of Massachusetts, but also in Virginia in the South as well, because up until this point, majority of our presidents actually did come from Virginia. Second point, it marked the growth of political parties and citizen participation in political elections. So essentially what that means is that more people are starting to vote during elections. Number 3, it introduced the idea of political campaigns that appeal to the common people. So what that means is that politicians who wanted to be elected to political office would actually go out and campaign and talk to people, very similar to the way politicians do it today. They hold rallies, they hold conferences so people can ask them questions and so they can talk about their ideas. And then the last thing is the spoil system. And so I have a definition of spoil system for you right here. And Jackson was big on this, and this is one of the things that his critics really got him on. It's a system where federal employees are removed from office and replaced with supporters of the president. So essentially what Jackson did was he would put his buddies who helped him get elected into political positions in office. Now, a lot of people disagreed with this because they felt that people should be put or held these positions based on whether or not they had the qualifications to do so. Jackson didn't believe this. Jackson actually argued that he believed that giving ordinary men government jobs prevented small groups of wealthy men from controlling the government. So that's one of the things that made Jackson stand out. And in reality, the spoil system stays in place for a good 35, 40 years until the end of the 1800s when we have the merit system come into place. So if you have any questions, please just let me know.